So good morning, everyone. It's just a couple of minutes past 10 o'clock, and I just wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I've just realised that you look like I'm sitting in the dark because somebody's turned the lights off on me in the office, but sure, we'll keep going. That will be the first mistake out of the way, Niamh, won't it? But we're so glad to have you join us this morning for our webinar on creating the award-winning entry for the Women in Business Awards 2024. This webinar is just a short overview for anybody who might be a bit unsure on whether they should enter or maybe don't know what category to enter, or for anyone that maybe doesn't even know what the Women in Business Awards are about and just wants to try something new for 2024. As a quick introduction, my name is Margarita and I am the Senior Marketing Executive at Women in Business. And we just wanted to have this webinar today just to get you in the encouragement and the confidence to get applying. I will give you an overview of what the awards are all about before we hear from our Young Businesswoman of the Year 2023, Niamh McCarthy of Niamh Designs, who'll be sharing her experience on why she entered last year and that winning feeling to help you go for it yourself. We will then hear from our plans team. Catherine Tweedy is the main woman over there as the expert of the Women in Business Awards, and she will be taking you through the awards portal. And Catherine is also my go-to person when it comes to any questions you might have today. We have a question box for you to pop in any questions you might have throughout the session, and we will also do our best to answer those for you at the end of the session. So to begin, we are in our 12th year of the Women in Business Awards, which is hard to believe, and we have really made our mark on the Northern Ireland Business Awards scene. As much as people love to get dressed up, it's not just an excuse to get dressed up for the evening, as the Women in Business Awards are all about celebrating and recognising the contributions and the impact that women across Northern Ireland make to our economy every day. We are sponsored by the Virgin Media O2 business team, and we are hosted by the fabulous Pamela Valentine, who's on screen there now, and she will be having us on the eve of International Women's Day on the 7th of March at Belfast's Crown Plaza. But before then, we need you to get entering. Whether you are a business owner or an employee in an organisation or anywhere in between, we have a category for you, no matter your sector or your role. We do have a wide range of categories on screen there at the minute. We have a new category for Outstanding Apprentice, which is just a brilliant opportunity if you know any apprentices out there. That one is sponsored by NIE Networks. And we also have a gender neutral category, which is always good to know for our Outstanding Mentor. So there is definitely something for everyone this year. What's important to note is that you actually don't have to be a Women in Business member to enter, and you can also enter as many categories as you wish. You just have to make sure that you submit a new application per category. It would be great if it was a matter of copying and pasting, but that's just not the case. And what most people don't know is that you can actually nominate yourself. And why not? I think you can put yourself out there. You need to put yourself out there. And if you don't know, you'll never know if you don't try. So for anyone that is also nominating on behalf of someone else, you can also do that as well. But we just make sure that you are free on the 7th of March in case you are a winner. And we also have a category for our overall Woman of the Year. Now, this one isn't open to nominations. This one is decided by a panel of judges. We like to change up our judges each year, and this year the panel is led by our Managing Director, Lorraine Atchison, alongside representatives of the local NI business community, alongside some of our partners at Women in Business, our media partners at the Irish News, and some of the Virgin Media team. Because we just think that having this independent panel just adds a bit more authority and authenticity to the awards, which is always good to know. And the big question is then, why should you enter? Why should it be you that puts yourself forward or your business? And what I say is, why the hell not? Because our mission at Women in Business is to help create a prosperous and inclusive economy for Northern Ireland, and you play your part in this every day that you show up for work. So it's about time that you put yourself forward and play up and play for yourself and show up for yourself or your team by submitting your entry by 12 noon on Monday, the 22nd of January. Before we hear from Niamh, I'll be going through some of the benefits of the awards, because we find that the awards benefits extend beyond the night. Whether you become a finalist or not, the actual process of submitting an award is a great learning experience and a reflection on your career or your business over the past year. We encourage you to keep a note of the information you pop into your application, because you just never know when this will be relevant for your next business pitch, your next job interview, or the next time you say hello to somebody at a networking event. And if you are lucky enough to be selected as a finalist, you will join us on Friday, the 23rd of February at the Rabbit Hotel in Temple Patrick for a chance to connect with all of the other finalists, which is just a great opportunity and networking day. Maybe Niamh will tell you a bit more about that as well. And throughout the awards, then you might have the opportunity to feature in the Irish News as part of our media partners. Some increased media coverage can never be a bad thing, or a profiling for yourself. And it's just a chance to drive yourself and your career forward, as we find that the benefits extend beyond the night for our winners and into their future careers. Now, on screen, I have a few testimonials from people that have won in the past, but I just thought, why not have someone join us online this morning to share their real experience and some words of encouragement, which is why I'm delighted to hand you over to Niamh. Now, you might recognise Niamh from UTV last night, but I'll let her take all the glory in that there one, and you might hear more on that. So how are you, Niamh?
All good. Thanks very much, Margaret. Yes, so I'll take over here. Thanks very much for everyone joining. Basically, the Women in Business Awards was just unreal, and it is the greatest achievement of my life. And I always say, no matter what comes next, that Women in Business, the Young Businesswoman of the Year, was the first. And as you all probably know, it's really hard to get the first win, and then it's all kind of just rolled after that. So I'll start off by talking about why I applied. So I was just fed up of people saying to me, how's your wee business doing? And I really wanted some recognition. At that stage, I had been going for 4 years. I've been 4 years full-time. I employ 2 girls full-time. And I know none of you need to tell me, but running a business is so tough. Everything's against you, and it's exhausting. And when people say, how's your wee business? You're just like, no, there's nothing wee about it. It's whole consuming. So I had actually attended the Women in Business Awards back in 2018. And on the night, I had seen the girl who had won Young Businesswoman of the Year. And I just thought this was absolutely amazing. And I was sitting there and I was just like, wow, that is my ultimate dream, to have your own business and to be recognized. So that was in 2018. I started my business in 2019. And I would say subconsciously, it was always my goal in the background. And to win Young Businesswoman of the Year, you have to be under 30. So I was 28 at the time, and I said, right, we'll have to do it now. We don't know what's ahead of us. So I put my application in. The application process, I would have to say, was fairly easy. There is applications out there, and you know yourself, it would take you 2 weeks to fill it out. But the Women in Business one, I would say it took a full day to get through it, which isn't too much in the grand scheme of things. But I would say that I did write the application completely by myself. But a little tip for you would probably be ChatGPT. For anyone on this call that doesn't know what ChatGPT is, please go and look it up. It will make your life so much easier. It's free to use. It's basically AI, but it will honestly take hours off the application process. It's not cheating. It's just basically AI helping you do your job better. And but if you're getting ChatGPT, do it on your desktop or on a computer. It's not as good on your phone. And the other good thing about the application is you can save it and you can come back to it. You don't have to do it all in the one go. So even just do one question and then come back and do another question. So yes, I applied for the award, and then was shortlisted in the Irish News. So the Irish News comes out and it tells you who all the finalists are. And then I just put the application in. I really didn't think I was going to win or even get shortlisted. So I was absolutely delighted to see you shortlisted. Then you're invited to a lunch. I think it was in Downpatrick last year. I actually can't remember where the lunch was. Probably says enough about how good the lunch was. Caroline O'Neill was the guest speaker, and Tina McKenzie were there kind of hosting it, and you meet all the other finalists. So that it's really lovely. because you know yourself, you're meeting people and you know them from Instagram and you've never actually met them before. So that was really good, because then on the actual awards night, you have a connection with a lot of people already. So then obviously the awards came, and I got a table. So I brought my mom and dad, my brother, and my boyfriend, and my two employees, Megan and Kiva. And I am so glad that I brought them. Now it is a bit expensive, like it's totally worth the cost, but to take a table, you know, it was a decision. We were like, should we take a table or should I just go with Alan? So glad I brought everybody. And my mom and dad didn't even really know what it was, and I said they weren't going to go, and I was like, no, this is my night. Yous are going. And so they came, and we had such a brilliant time. The actual night is so professional, so well organized. Food was absolutely brilliant. Entertainment, I think we got there for around, well, I don't know, maybe 8 o'clock, and the awards end at like 11:30, but the night absolutely flew by, and just honestly probably one of the greatest nights of my life. And actually, to make it even better, that was the night that my boyfriend at the time asked my dad, could we get married? So it was a bit special for that too. And then also I know someone, Adele, I remember her saying to me, the Women in Business Awards are definitely the most glamorous awards, probably in Northern Ireland. So if you are attending, do get your dress and get your hair done and your makeup, because they are really glamorous. There's no such thing as being too overdressed for them. So yeah, I suppose then on the night, won the award, literally nearly crying when I was walking up. Meant so much. And the recognition was immediate. Oh my goodness, it was in the Irish news. I had never been in the newspaper before, and you know, like all the local people in your community that aren't on social media, and they're like, oh, you've got that wee business and all, like was getting so many text messages, and my family were just really, I was surprised at how many people knew. Like, I mean, there were really what do you call that, like there was so much recognition and instant recognition. And I suppose then I got loads on social media, which was great. And I would say things did change for me after that. You know, I suppose after the Women in Business Awards, I really kind of took a step back from the business, the making side of it. And now I'm very much about the marketing and telling our story. And it just is just a great award. Also, this is the award here, if I can show you. And advice for applying, just apply. You know, if you don't make the shortlist in the Irish News, no one's going to know. You don't need to tell anyone that you're applying. And even if you don't make the shortlist, you can always apply next year. The awards are they're judged independently, as Marguerite said. And I just know from experience, like it's not like an insider thing. It's not like, oh, how many women in business events have you been to? It is literally judged by independent people, and it goes by your application. So if you don't be humble on your application, put everything down, and as much information as you can about the business, and fingers crossed. But if you don't make it, you can always ask for feedback. And it's just a really it's a fairly easy application, so I would advise anyone to apply, definitely. And yeah, I think that's me, Marguerite. But if there's anything else I've missed, or if anyone has any questions, more than happy to get back.
Definitely, that's my key takeaway there, Niamh. Don't be humble. I'm loving the sound of that there one. And Alan knew he had a winner that night too. I will never forget that night personally, because I made the mistake of accidentally posting that you won on our Instagram stories
Oh,
before Pamela even announced it.
oh, I
So
didn't
I was
even know
sitting,
that. Oh,
exactly,
right.
I was sitting sweating, staring at you not to look at your phone, and thank God you didn't. And I learnt my
Oh,
lesson to never touch that button until Pamela's finished
oh,
speaking.
that's so funny. No, I
So
didn't
it was
know.
an evening of excitement for us both. But that was brilliant. Thank you so much, Niamh, for taking the time to share your advice. I
No
hope you can all
problem.
take away some words of wisdom from Niamh's encouragement and to just go for it yourself. And before then, if you do have any questions for Niamh, you can pop them into the question box and we can run over them at the end. But now we will be joined by Catherine Tweedy of our planned events team. Catherine is the expert behind the Women in Business Awards, and she will take you through the application process on our portal. So I will let you take it away, Catherine.
Great, Margarita, thank you very much. Yeah, so thank you very much for having us here today. Really, it is just more the technical side of things, but if you've got any questions in relation to the criteria, in relation to the entry process, or just sort of any questions about maybe some advice too, you can contact us directly at the Women in Business email address. But I'm going to just share my screen here. So if there's any issues, Margarita, let me know with showing it. I do have multiple profiles being in the background, so hopefully it all shows as it should for you as an end user. So if you go onto the Women Business website for the awards themselves, you'll have the Enter Now button. Just click that and it'll take you through to the awards for. So that's the platform that we use, which is here. And obviously planned events, we look after that. And you can register your account. So just pop in your email address, it'll send you a code, and then you just fill in your own personal details. So your name, full name, company, email address, and then it'll send you a wee confirmation email. Okay, so any issues with that, again, you can let us know, but it's a very straightforward little form. Whenever you do then get registered and sort of log in initially, you'll have your key information in regards to the awards themselves. So key dates, when the deadline is for submission, the 22nd of January, when the finalists will be announced. And as Niamh said, it goes into the Irish News. So some really great coverage there. It goes in Irish News, printed and online, and then it'll go on to the Women in Business pages, socials and things too. Awards nights on the 7th of March. General terms and conditions really is just about where it is. So you need to have an office based in Northern Ireland. Specific criteria, like Niamh had said, in regards to the Young Businesswoman of the Year is under 30 before the 23rd of January this year. And then obviously everything's done online. The judges are independent and they'll get access to it once the deadline closes and then the judging day takes place. Okay, so in regards to the entry itself, just click this lovely purple button here to start your entry. As you can see, I've been doing some practicing ahead of the awards deadline opening. So whenever you get to your entries, you've got your demographic information first. So first of all, you want to choose what category it is. As Margarita said, you need to enter per category. So make sure you do select the correct one that you're thinking of at that time. So if I go, for example, customer service small business, and it'll give you a bit of an overview. It's recognize a woman who can demonstrate that she truly has the customer at the heart of her business. The winner will demonstrate ongoing improved performance standards and customer impact in the delivery of products and services. Okay, so I do need these details are required, so it won't let you move on to your actual criteria and things until you finish these details. So I'll just pop in my details. Okay. And again, I just want to fire in some information just to get through this quickly for yourselves. Okay, now the information that's shared is purely for the purposes of the award. So once the awards actually close within 6 months, all this data is then wiped, and we don't keep the entries for longer. So for example, if you do want to enter next year, we can't just pull them back up again and re-enter. It all gets wiped at the end, and it is purely just for letting you know about the awards, your entry process. If something's missing, something's not being completed properly, we can use these details to contact you and make sure that we've got the right information ahead of submission deadline. So the nominator person is the person that is yourself. So the one completing the entry and not necessarily the entrant itself. So just bear that in mind whenever you are putting in the entrant name. This is the person that you're putting up for the award. So make sure their details are correct, their name is spelled correctly. This is all what goes out and is used and goes out on to the likes of the Irish News, etc. So please make sure that's correct. But the nominator name is yourself. So like I said, as Margarita said, if you do nominate on behalf of somebody else, we need your contact details too, just in case there's a query, maybe over something that we've looked at. We do try and do a due diligence on the entries. For example, with the dates of date of births, with the size of the company. And I'll go into that in a bit more detail soon enough. So I'll just finish this off here. I'm just giving out everyone my mobile number, which probably wasn't the best thing to do, but sure, it's on my signature anyway.
You call on the Sunday before the deadline
And
closes. I'm only
wait a
joking,
minute,
don't do that.
extension, there's no extensions allowed. Okay, so then this is where the entry is itself. So this is where you need to sell yourself. Okay, so summary of your business is to give the judges an overview of what your business is, what it is you do in the day to day, what sector you're in, etc. Be mindful of the limitations in regards to the different words. The key ones have a bit more spacing. So, don't be humble, as Niamh says, but put the detail in, keep it sharp, keep it, we don't look at other appendices, other added, this is where it needs to be. It keeps it fair for everybody. So if someone is doing it themselves or someone has a PR agency, it just is down to making sure that you sell yourself in these couple of boxes. This will change depending on the category as well. It is not the same, it's similar, but it will change depending on the category. Some may have more questions, just depending on the nature of that category. So your summary about the business, the services improvements you've introduced for customers. So this is obviously the customer service one for small business, the impact of the improvements have had, and why you should win. Why should that person win? And that's a really good one to kind of sell and let someone stand out from everybody else. Then you save and next, which goes on to your headshot, which will be used for promotional things afterwards and on the night of the awards, but you can save and close. Once you can work on this right up until the deadline. So just save it and close it, save and next, preview it, see how you're getting on. But you need to make sure you submit an entry. We will do a reminder out to everyone that's in progress with their submissions to remind them of the deadline, but you have to click submit entry. And I do recommend, because it is tech, it's a really, really great system. Give yourself time, give yourself time to do the entry. You've got, another couple of weeks, but don't wait till noon on the Monday to hit submit, because you never know what tech can do. I can see from our side in terms of what real sort of detail and data on when you created your entry, when you started the entry at the back end. It's a great thing about this software. So it means then I can kind of see if there has been any issues with regards to your submission, and then I can look at that. But really it has to be 12 noon, and we are very strict on our cutoff for that. So give yourself some time, especially to submit it, to make sure there's no issues. Also, what I would recommend, this is just sort of a bit of a tip, do it on Word first maybe, and then copy it across. If you it is a really great system, but tech issues can happen. There can be little gremlins in there. So if you put something in and then you hit save and it just disappears, I haven't experienced that with this at all. We've done this now for a couple of years for this particular software. I would just recommend it as a Word document. You can work on it and then just copy and paste it and submit it. So it's just one really, really, really handy tip for that. And that's basically it. It's a really, really straightforward, as Niamh said. In regards to it, then we just collate them all. The judges are independent. We split it up depending on the number of categories that we have, the number of entries we have, and they there is one stage of judging, which is this stage. They read this, solely this, nothing else. Us in the background from Plan, we do, like say, our due diligence to make sure the company's based in Northern Ireland, has an office presence in Northern Ireland. You can, of course, be, in terms of a branch or a different type of office or department, that's absolutely fine. But as long as there's a presence in Northern Ireland, we have split some of the categories for corporates and small businesses, just to kind of make that even spread and understanding of maybe different marketing budgets, etc., etc. So corporates are your larger businesses, small businesses has to be under 50 employees. So bear that in mind. And again, we'll do those sort of checks and things on that too. And then again, just make sure you put your entrant, the person who you're entering on behalf of, or if it is for yourself, make sure the details on our entrant name are correct and the company name are correct, so that's what's used then to announce the shortlist. Nominator details are important too, just so we can contact you if there's any issues or any queries over anything to do with the individual entries. Is that okay, Margaret? Anything else you think that you want covered?
That's brilliant. I'm just having a wee nosy here, Catherine, in the chat, and there's just a wee question on, can you enter on behalf of a team rather than one individual? I think that just depends on the text, on the category. What do you think?
It does depend on the on the text. So if you go to, if I go quickly here to the Women Business website, and go to it, you'll see some more detail on the different categories. Should tell you there, they are individual awards. So I think the only one that kind of does the team is Advancing Diversity in the Workplace, which is split into individual and company winner. So that can kind of that's where it can be a full team. It is individual awards in essence. So it should be for someone, for recognizing a woman, who has done this and that. So I think it's only diversity in the workplace that has uh, the team one as such. The marketing one is a small business corporate employee. So it's really kind of the person who's leading that team. So we do need to recognize an individual, and by all means, it can be mentioned if they were to win, for example, it can be mentioned along with their team. But these are individual awards, except for the diversity in the workplace one.
Okay, perfect. That's grand. And just out of interest, then, how strict is the word count on the categories? Are you cut off or
You're cut
you
off.
are? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
grand.
So that's why I do recommend, if you do it on Word document first, you can keep yourself right in terms of what spacing and things you have, and then just copy it in.
Perfect. That's just a wee question there answered. That's grand. And then, do you have to be a women in business member to apply? No, you don't. It's open to everyone, which is great to have such a variety of people coming together in the one room on the night.
Yeah,
And
and the entries themselves are free. So there is some business awards out there that you do have to pay to enter and pay to attend. This isn't the case, and also this isn't just, although there is a nomination process, it's not a vote. It is very much on your submission, which makes it really, really authentic. And it means you can kind of really show what it is you're doing than just kind of, the white noise, what's happening maybe on socials or maybe in the news. You can really hone down on what it is you're doing as a business, or as an individual.
good. And I'm just going to grab you while you're here, Catherine. Another question is with regards to the small business number of 50, is that at the time of submission? And what if the number goes over 50 by the time of judging?
Okay, so it is a time of submission. The judging takes place that week, so it's probably unlikely that it'll change. But it needs to be 50, less than 50 people employed. That doesn't count, like if you've got freelance staff, it has to be 50 employed people that are like on your payroll as such. If that does change, we can look at, but we would move you into the corporate category. And again, you would judge exactly the same way. It's just that we are just mindful of, we're just mindful of like, so the marketing campaign one, etc., the excellence in IT, small businesses competing with larger businesses, and we just want to give that kind of fair platform. So yes, some of them, like this next one saying where it's less than 50 employees, it clearly states that, but it is up until the time of submission, so your 22nd of January.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you, Catherine. That's brilliant as always. The fun is only beginning for you now in the run up to the 7th of March. I'm just going to pull up a screen now for just a wee overview on a summary of our notes from today. And I'm just going to give you another couple of minutes to add in any last minute questions you might have. So don't go too far, Catherine. So I'm just going to click here. So just a final reminder then of how to enter. As Catherine showed you, you go on to womeninbusinessni.com and you click that yellow button to enter now on our homepage. And you need to make sure that you have a good look at those T's and C's as Catherine ran through. And a third tip comes from her CEO, Roseanne at Women in Business. She has looked at many entries over the years, thousands, I'm sure. And her one piece of advice was to be concise with that word count. So that's good to keep in mind. And she also recommended that you provide some statistics or numbers to help give the judges an overview of the information that's relevant to them. It's very impactful to have numbers, I think, definitely. And my tip then is if you have any further questions, you email awards@womeninbusinessni.com. Now, I promise that isn't me being lazy. It's just the most direct way and quickest way to get an answer from the plan team. And for the sake of Catherine's sanity, please send them in at least 1 week before and not on Sunday evening because you'll not be getting a response. No harm, tell you. But it's always good to know, have that there email there if you have any questions. And I'm just going to have a wee nosy now at the question box to see if there are any more questions. Are there any more questions from your end, Catherine? Can you see?
No, I don't think anything else
No?
has come in there. I think that's all fine. But again, like you said, you drop us an email, give us a call, and we can chat through any issues. So how can you book tickets on the awards night? Margaret, I'll leave that with you.
Okay, that's grand. So we hold off on opening the trying to get the word out, the buying of tickets on our website. Shouldn't be that complicated. We hold off on that until our applications are closed because we like to make sure that finalists have the opportunity to buy their ticket, and then we open that towards the end of January. I think it is the week commencing the 29th, all being well. So another few weeks before the tickets are on sale, there is the option to buy tables or single tickets. So that's another bit of fun for Catherine in the coming weeks.
Yep.
And any more questions at all? Let's see. I think
No, I think
that's
that's all. That's all I can see here too. But Great.
Brilliant, that's grand. But anyway, we are recording this webinar and we will upload it to our website where members can go in and rewatch if you need a recap on anything at all. But other than that, there's nothing left to do but to get entering, whether you're making a start on your application or you're adding the final touches. We wish you the best of luck and don't miss out on becoming a Women in Business winner for 2024. And I look forward to seeing some of you on the 7th of March. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.